Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to my very active, super consistent channel. I don't think people even watch my videos anymore. Like, I deleted all of them, or I archived all of them, because I was just like, I'm not posting, like, what's really the point of this? But I thought, well, mostly I'm bored this summer, and I was thinking that I could kind of talk about my favorite things about Boston and Emerson, just in case, like, someone stumbles upon this video, or if you're feeling nostalgic. So, yeah. I'll tackle Emerson first because Boston's like the bigger picture, and then Emerson's obviously the school. So if you don't know what Emerson is, Emerson College is a school in downtown Boston in Massachusetts, and it's actually a communication school, but it does have sort of an artsy reputation, primarily because many people there are film majors, and also the theater program is really phenomenal. But also I believe we're number one for journalism in the country and have a really awesome publishing program and things like that. So just to kind of get a vibe for the school. Okay, so some of my favorite things about Emerson, also you're gonna have to excuse my hot Cheeto hands, I'm sorry. But some of my favorite things about Emerson, I would say the first thing is that I really like how small the classroom sizes are, and that's just because it's a smaller school with not a huge student body population, which means that it's really easy to communicate with the professor. They know your name, they know your personality, which is really nice. It's also easier, I feel like, to make friends and like actually socialize in your classes and kind of like meet people. Whereas I feel like if I was in a big lecture hall, that wouldn't be as accessible for me. So I really appreciate the smaller class sizes. I also love how creative the campus is. Uh, Everyone is just really smart in like an artistic way and an intellectual way too, of course. Like lacrosse players, they'll have been theater kids in high school, and people who do creative writing are such amazing wordsmiths, and I feel like no matter what major field there is, like there's just so much creativity to get inspiration from, so many people to collaborate with and bounce off of, and I really love that about Emerson's campus. I think probably the last thing that I say I really like about Emerson is how many different facets there are to get involved in. This is kind of correlated or related to what the point I just made, but there are so many things to get involved in on campus. For example, my freshman year, just this past year, I wrote and edited for a music magazine. I did playlist creations, which is like really, really cool, and my work is like published in that. I got to be in a dance company. I got to be a marketing director for that same company and choreograph dances for that, and of course put on a show, which is like 2 shows actually, which is really, really cool and also something I've never done before. And I got really involved with student employment by becoming a student ambassador. So the general thing that means is that I am a tour guide, and so I give tours to incoming or prospective students and families, but I also got to do student panels, which was really fun. I got to host what's it called? Picture Yourself at Emerson days, which are basically when a bunch of students who have been admitted can come to campus and basically have like a mini orientation in a day, anywhere from $14 to $15 an hour for pretty easy work. But just in general, like that's just like some of the things that I got involved in, and they're all so cool and different. And I really, really like that about Emerson. Now moving on to Boston. We also have a campus in Los Angeles and in the Netherlands, but Boston's like the main campus, and that's where I am at school right now and where I went to school last year. And I really like Boston for many, many reasons. I think the first thing that I'll say is that I got introduced to Boston really early on in my life because my mom's family immigrated there from Barbados. So we would go up every single year for Thanksgiving and have like this big family get together, and so Boston has just always been a place that I know and a place that I'm pretty familiar with, which has been really, really nice. So I was glad that I would have family here and that I would be kind of like adjusted to the area. Another thing that I love about Boston is that it's a great starter city. You know, people say like starter packs. Boston's like a starter city. And what I mean by this is that usually when people think of like big cities in the US, I feel like they think of two, New York City and Los Angeles. And I would definitely say that those are like really big and intimidating cities. There's a lot of opportunities in both places. You always hear people are moving out to LA or people are moving out to NYC. So that can be kind of intimidating, especially as a college student when you're experiencing all this like super new stuff and romance is new and having to make your own schedule and account for yourself is new and meeting new people is new and being in a new place is new. And I feel like it would be really scary to start out in either LA or New York, even though they're both phenomenal places that I would eventually like love to end up in. I like that Boston is smaller, more low key, more chill. It has kind of this like intellectual, like historical feel because so much has happened there. And I think it's just like a really great place to start out. It's not as intimidating. You can get pretty much anywhere there using the T. It made being there so much easier. Another thing I love about Boston, and this might not be Boston specifically, it might just be cities in general. I'm from a little tiny suburb in Georgia, so getting to be in a city is probably like a very like universal experience, and it's probably the case for a lot. But for Boston specifically, there's so much to do all of the time, which I love, and it's always a walk or a drive or a T ride away. So a few things that I like about specifically where I am in Boston, which is right downtown in the theater district. Firstly is the Boston Commons, which is right across from my dorm. It's beautiful. It's this huge park. There's always people there, especially during the warmer months, and it's a great place to have a picnic or go for a walk with your friends or on a date. Directly across from it is the public gardens, which are definitely prettier. There's a bunch of flowers, and there's always people playing really like nice music, and there's like the why am I struggling? The duck tours, like you can go, not the duck tours, the like boat rides, they're like swans or ducks or something you can go on the water. It's really pretty. I've never been, but it's just like a cute place to be for sure. And I like that it's right across from campus. It's a 2-minute walk away. Another thing that I like about I don't want to say city life, but because that sounds cringy, but the city life about Boston is the concert scene and the venues. Only like a 5 to 6 minute walk away from Emerson's campus is the Orpheum, which is this really beautiful kind of like old-fashioned theater, and I've seen two people I think play there, Snow Allegra and Conan Gray, and it was phenomenal. So I love that it's so close to campus. And usually when you think you have to go to concert venue, people are thinking they gotta drive out to go to the venue, but for me I just had to walk, which was really really great, especially because it was like March and that's really cold in Boston. I went to this like underground concert venue called the Tourist Trap in Allston, and it was really packed, but it was such an intimate space, and it was like local band, and it was just kind of a really cool vibe, kind of edgy. I hate using these words, but I don't know how else to describe it, but it was really cool. Also, I've been putting pictures and videos for like everything that I'm talking about, so that's not boring me talking about this. So hopefully this is like an enjoyable video. I'm sorry if it's not. But yeah, moving on to food. There are so many places to eat in Boston, especially where I'm at, which I'm always so grateful for. Right behind Emerson's campus is Chinatown. The food there is phenomenal. It's authentic, and I've really enjoyed every single time I've gone to eat there. In Cambridge, I went in to my first Indian restaurant there, and it was amazing. And then I also want to point out Cafe 26, which is my favorite place to eat in Boston. I actually have the menu saved on my phone because I just love it that much. But they have the most amazing crepes and smoothies, and it's such a great place to go eat like a morning before a class or during the weekend. I think the last thing that I'm going to talk about Boston and the area and why I love it so much is because of all the shopping and thrifting that you get to do. I have some honorable mentions for places in Boston that are just really, really cool, even though I don't really have anything specific associated with them. Like New York City and the area surrounding it, Boston has quote unquote boroughs. So, like New York has Manhattan, Brooklyn, the Bronx, New York City. We also have a bunch of different like little like neighborhoods around this general downtown Massachusetts, Boston area.
Someone told me about you, said you were moving.
I think that's it. That is my recap or kind of like phase about Emerson and Boston. And if you're ever in town, hit me up. I'd love to hang out and show you around. Thanks for watching. Bye.